Hello dear viewers, my name is Farid Nouri and I'm a migration consultant in Germany. Today I would like to explain for you how you can fill in the application for child allowance or Kinderzuschlag in Germany. As you know, I already explained for you in my previous video in this YouTube channel what a Kinderzuschlag or child allowance is, what its requirements are, the amount of it, how to apply for it, the necessary documents for its application, and so on. So if you're interested to watch this video, you can watch this video in this YouTube channel. I will also put its link under this video for you in its description part. Anyways, now I would like to explain for you how you can fill in this form. As I explained for you in my previous video, only those who already receive child benefit or Kindergeld can apply for Kinderzuschlag or child allowance. And if they meet the requirements, they can also get the child allowance or Kinderzuschlag. So you write the last name and the first name of the person who receives child benefit or Kindergeld and wants to apply for child allowance or Kinderzuschlag here, the child benefit number or Kindergeldnummer based on which he or she receives the child benefit here. Here, Antrag auf Kinderzuschlag means application for child allowance. Here it says, please use block letters when filling out the form and note the information sheet on child allowance. It is worth mentioning that the Merkblatt or information sheet will be provided or given to you or sent to you via Familienkasse with this application form. Or you can download it from the internet, from the website of the Familienkasse or Bundesagentur für Arbeit. And they've also asked you to please fill in the attachment Applicant and Partner or Anlage, Antragstelle und Partner. And for each child for whom you apply child allowance, you should fill in the attachment Child or Anlage Kind, because these are the necessary attachments to this application. It is worth mentioning that I'm going to explain for you how you can fill in these attachments in my upcoming videos. After filling in and signing this form and its attachments, you should send them in original to the Familienkasse of the Federal Employment Agency or Bundesagentur für Arbeit. And please also attach copies of all necessary supporting documents to the application. Part 1 is about your personal information is in Applicant. So you write your last name and first name here, your date of birth here. If you have a maiden name or a last name from your ex-marriage or civil partnership, you should write it here. You write your title here. For example, if you're a doctor or engineer, you can write it here. You write your address here, including the street name, the house number, the postal code, and the name of the city. You write your gender here. I mean, if you're a man, you write männlich or M. And if you're a woman, you write weiblich or we here. Your nationality here, your telephone number here. This should be a telephone number based on which the Familienkasse can call you during the day and reach you during the day. You mark your family status here. I mean, if you're single, you mark here with a cross. If you're married or you have a civil partner, you mark here with a cross. And here you write since when you're married. If you're divorced or your civil partnership has been dissolved, you mark here with a cross, and here you write since when this has happened. If you live separately from your spouse or from your civil partner, you mark here with a cross, and here you write since when. If you're widowed, you mark here with a cross, and here you write since when. In part 2, you provide information about your partner or your spouse who is living with you in your household. Here you write his or her last name. If he or she has a maiden name, you also write it here, and you also write his or her first name here. You write his or her nationality here, and you write his or her date of birth here. In part 3, you provide information about your bank account details. So you write your IBAN number from your bank card here. You write the big letters from your bank card here. And you write the name of the holder of the bank account here. Of course, the first and the last name of the holder of the bank account. It is usually written on the bank card. If this bank account is yours, you write your first and last name here. In part 4, you provide information about the children who live in your household, and you apply Kinderzuschlag or child allowance for them. Note that the children must be under 25 years old and unmarried. You or your partner must receive the child benefit for this child. Please also note that the child must also be a biological or adopted child of you or your partner. So you write the last name and the first name of each child here, and here. And the dates of birth of each child here, and here. Of course, if it is one child, you write the last name and the first name of him or her here, and the date of birth of him or her here. In part 5, you write which of the children mentioned in part 4 do not stay permanently in your household. For example, external placement due to education, stay with the other biological parent for up to half the time. If the child stays with the other parent, it is sufficient to specify whether the child regularly stays with the other parent for 1 to 12 or 13 to 17 days. So, if it is the case, you write the first name of each child here, and here. And here you write the reason for it and the duration of absence of each child. In part 6, you provide information about the fact that if, in addition to the children mentioned in part 4, there are children under the age of 25 for whom you do not receive Kindergeld or child benefit and live temporarily in your household. For example, in the case of separated parents, regular stays at weekends or similar to that. If the child stays 13 to 17 days with you and about equal days with his or her other parent, it is enough to write that the child stays 13 to 17 days with you. If the child regularly stays with you for 1 to 12 days, it is necessary to specify the exact number of these days. A day is always taken into account with the part with whom the child stays first during the day. So, if it is the case, you write the last name and first name of this child or these children here, here, and here. You write the date of birth or the dates of birth of each child here, here, and here, and the reasons for it, and the duration of absence of these children. You write here, here, and here. In part 7, you provide information about the fact that if in addition to you, your partner, and the children mentioned in part 4, there are other persons living with you in your household. For example, these persons could be your own unmarried children under 25 years of age without entitlement to child benefit, your own married children over 25 years of age, your stepchildren, your foster children or grandchildren, your parents or siblings, and etc. So, if it is the case, you write the last names and the first names of these persons here, here, and here, their dates of birth here, here, and here, their relationship to you should write here, here, and here, their relationship to your partner, you should write here, here, and here. In this part, there is an explanation about your data protection, and they have mentioned that your data will be processed on the basis of the Federal Child Benefit Act and the Social Security Code. The purpose of the processing of the data is to check your entitlement to the child allowance. You can find more information about the processing of your data by the Familienkasse and your rights under Articles 13 to 22 of the General Data Protection Regulation on the website of your Familienkasse, to be found under this website, and there you can also find contact details of the data protection officers. They've also mentioned that they will keep your files about child allowance or Kinderzuschlag after the end of the last child allowance payment for 6 years. And you also assure that all the information you have provided in this form and in the attachments are correct and complete. And you will notify the Familienkasse of any changes that may be necessary for the child allowance without being asked to do so. You also assure that you have read and agree with the content of the leaflet or Merkblatt on child allowance, which could be found at this website. And you also agree with the collection, processing, and use of your information and the information of your family for the payment of child allowance. Here you write the date in which you will send this form to the Familienkasse. Here is an applicant you should sign, or your legal representative should sign here. If part of the child benefit goes to you as an applicant and part of it goes to your partner or to the other parent of the other parent of the child should sign here as the second applicant, or his or her legal representative should sign here. And in this case, the part below should also be signed by the second applicant. In addition, the second applicant also agrees based on this paragraph that the Familienkasse can use his or her information such as Kindergeld number or child benefit number and IBAN number of the bank account of him or her only if they are necessary for the approval and payment of the child allowance or Kinderzuschlag. And he or she can revoke this at any time in the future. Here, he or she should write the Kindergeld number or child benefit number based on which he or she receives child benefit for his or her child or children. And here, he or she should sign, or his or her legal representative should sign. And these three options are for those who fill in this form online in their computers. If they have done so, then in case they click on this option, all the information they have filled in this form in their computer will be deleted. If they click on this here, the information or the whole pages will be printed out. And if they click on this option, this form will be saved in their computer. Thanks a lot for watching my video. If you would like to get similar important information about the immigration laws in Germany, your rights and duties in German society, the living conditions in Germany, and other such important topics, please subscribe and follow our channel. If you have any questions or remarks about today's topic, you can write it under this video and I will be more than happy to answer it for you.